Brilliant. Afternoon, everyone. Fantastic to have the opportunity to be with you today to share a fundraising idea that I wish I'd thought of. Before I do that, though, I'm going to talk a little bit about the background as to why I think this is a really important cause and such a powerful fundraising idea. There are over 5 million people living with asthma in the UK, some of whom I'm sure are in the room today. Every 10 seconds, somebody has a potentially life-threatening asthma attack. And today, 3 families will lose somebody they love to asthma. And that's why it's something that's so important to me. Lots of members of my family are asthma sufferers. My mom has asthma and is frequently hospitalised because of the condition. My younger sister suffers with asthma, particularly as a child. She suffered very badly. And lots of members of my extended family, including myself. I was diagnosed with asthma when I was 11, which is actually pretty late for asthma. There I am. At my cuteness peak, it all went downhill after that. I had my first asthma attack after a PE lesson at school, on the way back to the change rooms, actually, and I'd never experienced anything like it before, so it was utterly terrifying. It's a memory that I can, still draw upon very, very vividly and will always be able to. That feeling of not being able to breathe, your chest tightening, the panic and the fear, not knowing what's happening to you. My most recent asthma attack was at 35,000 feet, hurtling through the sky on a flight from London to Bangkok. I'm not a great flyer either, by the way. That was very scary, being in that confined space, but I did end up being bumped up to business class, so it was okay in the end. So. Now, the most recent member of my family to be diagnosed with asthma is Henry, my nephew. There he is on his first day of school a couple of weeks ago. You can see the family resemblance, I'm sure. He was diagnosed at just 2 years old. And for such a young boy to experience that, tightening of the chest, not being able to breathe, it must be terrifying, particularly when you can't really explain what it is you're feeling, don't really understand what you're going through, and don't really understand why you can't do the same things that the other children can do. And for his mum, my sister, watching her son struggle to breathe must be absolutely awful. No parent wants to see that, see their own child going through that. I think that's the thing about asthma. It's not that serious unless you've got it or you know somebody that does. It's very difficult to relate to unless you've been through it yourself. But I hope there is a way that you can get a little glimpse of what it's like to live with asthma. You all should have been given a straw when you came back into the auditorium today. It's not for your drink, sorry. If you could just get that up. What I'm going to ask you to do is to breathe through that straw entirely uninterrupted for 30 seconds as this timer counts you down. So if everybody's ready with their straw to hand, obviously if you've got asthma, feel free to sit this bit out. That would be literally the worst thing that could happen to me. Okay. So we're going to go, should start now. So as you breathe through the straw, I'd just like you to imagine what it might be like to experience that sensation of your breathing being restricted for hours, days, if not the rest of your life. Imagine the fear that would accompany not having control over your own breathing and being a young child like my nephew Henry and not really understanding what's happening to you. Okay, we all made it through, I think. Fantastic. Thank you so much for taking part. When you have an asthma attack, your airway will restrict to roughly the diameter of the straw that you're holding in your hand today. So you have all had a brief glimpse of what it's like living with asthma. And that brings me on to the fundraising idea that I wish I'd thought of. It was by the National Asthma Campaign, now Asthma UK. It's a mail pack from back in 1991, in which they sent out a detachable straw to prospective supporters and invited them, like you all did today, to breathe through that straw for 30 seconds so they could get an idea of what it was like being one of the beneficiaries of Asthma UK. What a fantastic idea. It's so simple, yet so powerful, giving a prospective supporter the opportunity to experience what life is like for one of the beneficiaries of the cause. A rare possibility, I'm sure. This is the mail pack that went out. It included a case study of a young boy, not too dissimilar to my nephew Henry, and really showed what it's like living with asthma every single day of your life. It included details of the research that the organisation are funding and how that can have an impact on those living with asthma. And of course, it ended with a compelling ask. The other thing I love about this this fundraising idea is that it came about in a genuine eureka moment. Then director Carrie Spink was in a conversation with a colleague who has asthma and likened it to trying to breathe through a straw, which gave her this fantastic idea, and the rest is history. It became the organisation's banker pack for many years, and there are limited results available, but we do know that in one particular campaign it performed at 7% on a reciprocal data list. It was hugely successful for the organisation. And that's it. It's simple. The thing I think we can learn from it is that if there is a way that we can connect our supporters to our beneficiaries in such a simple way as the straw that you've all got in your hand today, then it's going to make our fundraising ask much more compelling. And that's why I wish I'd thought of that. Thank you very much.